So last night, Draymond Green was serving his suspension for receiving a flagrant 2 foul. Well, perhaps ironically, Joel Embiid received a flagrant 1 for kicking Nick Claxton and finished the 76ers win. Charles Barkley gave his thoughts on the incident last night. Take a listen.
His was worse than Draymond's, to be honest.
Thank you. Worse than Draymond?
Yeah, because he tried to kick a guy in his jump.
Yes.
Yeah, just because the guy was a bad shot.
Well,
I mean,
so
you know what he was trying to do.
I mean, so what's the law?
Yeah, no, listen, we don't know, listen, we all have our own opinion. I thought he tried to kick him in his private parts. He should have got ejected.
Shannon, do you agree with Sir Charles on this one?
I already said I agree with it. And like you said, Skip, just because he missed the target doesn't mean. Skip, if I shoot at somebody and I don't hit them, they're like, well, it's no harm, no foul because you didn't actually shoot them. No, but I tried. He tried to kick you. Let me ask you a question, Skip. You thought he was trying to kick him in his thigh or he was trying to kick him in his private?
This is just me. I don't think he was aiming at his private.
I think he was aiming at his private. He tried to get it. And I agree. I think he should have got. I think he should have received because, like I said, that's not a basketball play, and it was unnecessary, and it was excessive. So, by my letter of the law, yeah, he should have got at least ejected. Now I don't know about the suspension because he doesn't, as you mentioned, you read off, he doesn't have the history.
No.
Of these type of incidents like a Draymond, but in that moment. Yeah, it's still, Skip, I mean, you might not have a huge history. It's for adjudication down the road. But in that moment right then and there, yeah, I probably would have thrown him. If I was an official, I probably would have thrown him out of the game.
Okay, but you are saying you agree with Charles that this was worse than what Draymond did to Sabonis.
Skip, you know what? I hate, Skip, you know, and we do this a lot up here. I try to hate, well, this was worse than that. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay away from that because, you know, well, what Kyrie, you know, tweeted this and then somebody said something about the African-American community was worse than the LGBTQ community. And so I tried to stay away from that.
Versus the Jewish community.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I've tried to do, Skip, and I just looked at it and says, okay, Draymond did this. Mm-hmm. He was ejected.
Yeah.
I believe Joel Embiid should have been ejected. Now, for the suspension, given that he doesn't have he has some history, but not to the extent of Draymond. And Draymond has a lot of history in the playoffs.
His is all-time history. Since he entered the league, nobody has anything close to what he
just had an issue. He just had an issue last year in the playoffs with history, with all this carry on, the excess.
Yep.
So it's not like they had when the last time Draymond did something like this? We got to go way back to 2011, 12 now. We just got to go back 300 days.
Yeah. 17 ejections in his career to 1 for Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I heard live what Charles said. I was dumbfounded by it. Kenny was dumbfounded by it, but Shaq agreed with Charles.
Yes.
So it was actually 2-1.
Right. What did Ernie? How did Ernie side?
He doesn't take a side.
Okay, he just neutral. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's Switzerland.
Supposed to be. I guess occasionally he does.
Okay.
But last night I did not sense
either way, either or. Okay.
Okay. The way I saw this unfold was I saw a Nick Claxton who's had previous issues with Joel. They both got techs in a game that they played this year.
Right.
So there's some bad blood. And Nick Claxton is a very emotional player who got a little over-emotional because he dunked on Joel or near or around Joel.
Right. And got an and one.
And he got an and one. And he proceeded, as Joel fell to the floor, which Joel is wont to do.
Yeah.
And he stepped across him, which is the ultimate sign or display of disrespect.
But he stepped across his legs, Skip. He ain't stepped across him like AI did T. Lou.
But he did step across him.
Where you want me to go? You want me to back up? You want me to put it in reverse?
Yes. Well, I mean, you don't need to go over there. And
Where I need to go, Skip?
Yeah.
Where you want me to go?
He stood over and taunted and glowered above him.
He should have put a Sean Kemp on him.
Okay.
When he dunked on Chris Gatlin.
And in the midst of that, while he is straddling Joel is saying, get up off me, and he's going to kick up at him to kick him off. And then as the referee said, as our man Mr. Brothers said after in explaining what the decision was. He said that the contact was deemed unnecessary, but based on the point of contact to the leg, it didn't rise to the level of excessive. Okay, so to me, what I see there is if a man is standing over you, taunting you with the ultimate basketball act of disrespect, it's not really a football act as much as it's a basketball act. It has tradition to it.
Right.
They know what it means. You are rubbing it in.
Yeah.
And if you really want to kick that man straddling you right in the privates, it's easy. It's a direct line right up to the privates, and it's an easy target at that point.
Skip, you missed. Skip, okay. I was in a situation, we played the Raiders in a division playoff game, and Winston Moss, we had Winston Moss on the show a couple of years ago, Skip. He tackled me, and the dude got up, picked himself up on my head.
Okay, yeah, and? I
tried to kick him up in the stomach. I missed him, but I tried to get him.
Well, did you try to get him in the midsection?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
Again, you always say to me on the show, how do you know intent? I don't know exactly.
Well, I'm telling you my intent. Okay, well, he knew my intent.
I only know results because Joel kicks up at him, and the point of contact is on the back upper leg into the buttocks region, and completely misses the privates. So he's hitting on the opposite side of the body of Nick Claxton. So he's not even hitting onto the front private side.
Skip, here's the thing. Intent only matters to you. James Harden had no intention of hitting that man in his private.
I don't think so.
It was still the man double up on the ground because that's what happened. So intent didn't matter to Royce O'Neal or whomever he hit. It only matters to James Harden.
You don't think Royce O'Neal was laying it on thick?
No, it's good to me. Look, it don't take much. No, it don't take no full-on blow, a little graze and ooh.
No.
Lord.
I got it.
Just take deep breaths. I can't breathe.
I got it. Take it from a kid like me who played catcher from the age of 7 up to 18. Yeah. You want to talk about privates are exposed to some
ground ball?
No. If you're catcher, anything bouncing in the dirt. That's why they're telling me I got to wear this cup. I got to wear this cup since I'm 8 years old up to 18. I got to wear this cup because it's all you got because it's dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So remember, if we're saying it's worse than Draymond, yes, Sabonis grabbed onto his ankle to prevent him from running to beating him up the court.
Right.
And it's a dirty tactic, or maybe you could just say it's a crafty tactic, but it's a tactic. It's not dangerous to me because I don't think he's going to injure Draymond by just holding on to his ankle. You could say, well, what if he trips and falls? I guess.
Skip, you remember when Mac Jones did that to Brian Burns and twisted his ankle?
Yeah, he twisted. Okay, but I didn't see a twist.
But I'm saying
he's just restraining him for a second.
But hey, what if Draymond's like, man, and stumbles or something?
Okay,
I mean,
maybe.
Sabonis shouldn't have did what he did, but Draymond was excessive.
So that triggered the act.
Right.
But now Draymond has pulled free of the ankle grab, and he has a split second to think about it, and he's going to retaliate with the stomp to the chest.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's the ultimate dangerous act, and they said he had x-rays and he was questionable. I think he played just fine last night. He looked just fine.
What do you have, 15 and 16?
16 rebounds. He's fine. Okay. Yeah. They're laying it on thick there.
Draymond thought he was a cue dog, a boy gets 5'5", something where he was stomping.
They're trying to get him suspended by saying Sabonis is hurt.
Yeah, sternum.
He needs all kinds of MRIs and X-rays.
And then Draymond tried to trouble and say, I got to get an X-ray on my ankle.
Okay. All right. But my point about Joel is Draymond stomped after the act had finished, the dirty tactic. Yeah. This is in the midst of this man is disrespecting you, straddling you, standing over you. So it's in the process of the act. He kicks up, and it's a get out of my space kick. Now, what's his intent? What's his target? Well, I think if you really want to hit where you're talking about it, then you hit it.
I mean, you try, Skip. I mean, in a situation like that, when somebody's doing something to you, you try. I mean, you might not be successful, but don't think it wasn't for lack of effort.
Yeah, okay. But it's a kick to the back of the leg. Well, to the referees, they can't judge intent. They can't decide you aimed at his privates, but you hit him in the butt or the back of the leg, right?
Well, I mean, they deemed it excessive. I mean, James Harden got thrown out of the game, Skip, because he tried to brush the man's hand away, and the man's hand wasn't there, and it just like flew into his midsection.
Do you believe he aimed at his privates? Because I don't.
No.
I don't believe. I've seen James flail with his offhand 1,000, 10,000 times. It's part of his bag that when you get up into him, as Royce O'Neal was, he's just going to try to create a little bit of space with a little bit of this. His hand is cupped. Yeah. It's not like he took his bald fist and tried to whack him in the privates. Yeah. He didn't do that.
But, Skip, again, intent only matters. Manslaughter and murder. Yeah. The victim is just as dead, whether you intended to kill him or not. So the defendant, the only person that intent matters to is the defendant. Okay. The victim is just as dead. James Harden hit him whether he intended or not. The man is doubled up on the floor. Whether he tried to, Joel Embiid tried to kick him or not.
Okay. I think Royce O'Neal's going to be okay.
Man, go ahead.
He's going to be okay. I think he's going to live. Right?
Yeah. I mean, but it happens, Skip. I mean, I've seen guys. I know a guy that lost one of his in a very similar situation.
Okay. It can happen. I got it.
But I hear you laughing in the background too, Jen. Don't think I didn't hear you.
Yeah. I think it's time to move on from this subject before we tell any more anecdotes. Because I definitely don't want more details of what you just mentioned, Shannon. Instead, guys, let's move on and talk about the Clippers. How did Russell Westbrook look last night with no Kawhi and no Paul George? That's coming up after this break.
My professor hat.